I'm Vivi. Hope you all are doing well. So basically today we are gonna make a digital clock. So that will be basically made with the help of the Tkinter and the time module. Let me just quickly firstly show you that basically how will that digital clock actually look like, okay? After that I would be telling you how to make that and what are the important things required for making this project. Right, so here I am having the code and let me just quickly run out this project. Right, so here we have the clock that I was just discussing about. Right now basically it is showing me the time that right now your time is 8 o'clock 32 minutes 41 seconds and PM, right? So this means actually I am having night at whatever time I'm just making this video. At that time basically we have night, right? So it is actually showing me the correct time that I am having according to here, right? So this is the whole project that we are gonna make today. This is a kind of a clock that we will be making today. Right. So for basically making this clock, what are the things that we'll be needing? So we'll be needing a Tkinter module and a time module. Okay, so these two are the modules, these are the libraries that we'll be using for making our project for today. Okay, and the further things I'll be telling you while writing the project. Fine. So here basically what I will be doing is that whenever we just make a project and we just need to make any project using the library, okay? So in that case, what we do, the first thing that we do is actually we just import that library, right? So in the same case, I'm going to import my library, but here what I am just going to do is that let's have a look at basically what I'm going to write, and I'll be explaining you that thing right here. Right, so here I'm just going to write from Tkinter, okay? From Tkinter import Tk. Okay, this means that here what I'm just doing is that Tkinter is one of my modules. Okay, Tkinter is one of my modules that I am having here. Okay, now from that module, basically what I am trying to do is that I am trying to import Tk. Okay, Tk is one of the function, you can just say one of the library that we have in the Tkinter library. So from my Tkinter module, I'm just gonna import that here. Right, so this is the thing that I'm just trying to do right now. Now, basically my next step is that from here basically what I'm just going to write again from my Tkinter module. I am going to import one more function, and that function is basically my label function. Okay, so here I'm writing from Tkinter import label. Right, so till now I have taken one of my module, that is Tkinter, and from that basically I have imported my two functions. One is my Tk and another is my label. So Tk is basically used for making your window, okay, making a window in which our clock will be displayed, okay. So Tk is basically used for making that window, and label is basically used whenever we just want to write something into that Tkinter window. So at that place basically this label function is used. Right, I hope I just made this thing very clear to you that what are these two functions used for. And as I just want to display the time onto that window, right? So for that, basically I'll be importing my module, and that is time. So for that, simply I have written import time. From time, I do not need to import any particular function. So I haven't taken that from time import something. No, I haven't done that. I have simply imported my time. Okay. So now I have just done this thing. Now basically what I'll be doing is that I'll be making my variable, that is root. Okay, and in that basically I'll be trying to make my Tkinter window. Okay, so root is equal to Tk. Okay, this is the window that will be appearing. So Tk is basically for my window, and root is the variable in which I'm storing this window. And here I'll be writing root dot title. Okay, now basically what title I actually want to give to that window, that will be appearing. Okay, so in that case I'm writing root dot title. Now title that I just want to give here is, let's say, clock. Okay, simply I just want to mention clock at the top of the window, that should appear. And basically here what I'll be just doing, I'll be just closing the main loop. Okay, so whenever we just want to see any output, whenever we are just using a Tkinter library and you want to see any output in the Tkinter library, so after writing your whole program, do not ever forget to close this root dot main loop, to write that root dot main loop. Okay, because this is actually used for displaying your project, displaying your output that you are gonna get here, right? Now I have just written this much, and if I just run out my program here for a while, so you are able to see that I am getting a very small window here. Okay, where the, just let me quickly open it from down. Right, so this is one of my window that I am getting here as my Tkinter window. Now it is a default window because I haven't mentioned any particular size or something like that. Okay, so this is my default window. So I would be like now closing it, and now basically what I would be doing is that I would be giving some label and writing some things here. Okay, now basically here I would be coming down, and firstly I would be making a variable, and in that basically I would be making a label. Okay, first thing that I'm just gonna do here is that I'm gonna make a label. So for that I would be needing a variable. Let's say the variable which I'm just gonna make here is digi underscore clock. Okay, we always make some meaningful variables so that it is easier for us to understand that okay what I am going to do into this variable. Okay, like basically what I'm just going to store into this variable. Right, so digi underscore clock, this is one of the variables that I have made, and in this basically first I'll be using my label function. Okay, so now make sure to keep this L as capital, don't write it in small, otherwise it will give you error. Fine. Now this label is the function, as I mentioned above. I'm repeating again that it is used to write something onto your Tkinter window. Right, so I would write a label root. In the bracket I wrote root. Now what is this actually root used for? So this root is actually used, you mentioned in the line number 5. In line number 5 have a look that I have saved my Tkinter window into this root variable. Okay, so I want to write into that Tkinter window. So in that same case, I am using here root. Fine. Now, what I would be doing is that I would be taking here font. Now, font is one of the parameters that we have in the Tkinter library that allow us to choose our own handwriting, that actually in what font, actually in one handwriting you just want your text to be displayed. Okay, whatever you are writing onto the Tkinter window, in which font you want to, like basically which font, what can be the size and all that things. Okay, so this font is the parameter that allows us to do the same thing. Right, so font is equal to, I would put the bracket here. Let's see the basically handwriting, the font which I want here is Arial. Okay, I would simply write the name of that font. Now according to your choice you can choose any of the fonts, right? So I just wrote Arial. Now basically what font actually you want, what is the size of the font which you want. Okay, let's say I want the size of my font to be 150. Now here again I'm repeating that totally depends on you, that what font name and what font size actually you want. I want 150, so I have just written that thing. Okay, other than that I have this parameter, and that parameter is BG. Now BG actually stands for background color. Right, that what background color do you want in your Tkinter window. Fine, let's say I want my red. The output which I had shown you, in that background color was red. Right, so I just wrote that background BG is equal to red here. Okay, now I have FG. Now what does this FG actually stands for? So FG actually stands for that what actually font color you want, foreground. Okay, what font color actually you want, that whatever the font is going to display on that Tkinter window, what's the color of that. Okay, let's say I want here black. Okay, so I just wrote here black. So these are the parameters which you can add into this label function to make your font and to make the things look more attractive. Okay, now basically what I'll be doing here is that I'll be writing digi underscore clock. Okay, digi underscore clock is my variable, right? And I'll be using here my pack function. Okay, so that means I need to fit up whatever I'm just writing here. Okay, whatever the text will be coming onto that window, that Tkinter window, that should be fit into that. Okay, so in that case basically we just use this pack function. Right, now basically what I am left with, I am just left with only one thing here, that is I need to make the function. Okay, the function in which my font would be, my time would be displaying, and from that I'll be just calling that function and my program would be over. If I run my program here for a while, then you will not be able to see anything except this straight line. Okay, because till now I haven't written any font here, and even I haven't made the function. So when I'll be making that function, inside that function I'll be writing that I want to display the time, and when I would be calling that, then only I'll be getting the output. Okay, so here I'm just making my function. So for making the function, the procedure is I'll be using def, and I'll be making one function name. Let's say the function name is present underscore time. Let's say this is the function name which I had made. Okay, now basically here what I'll be doing, I'll be making another variable inside my function, and let's say that variable is display underscore time. Okay, this is the variable which I have made inside my function. So in this variable, what actually I am storing? I am storing time dot strf time. Now this strf time is actually used to give you the current time. Current time means that whatever the time is right now, it is actually used to give that thing. Okay, make sure this is strf time. Okay, now here I have two formats. That do you want the time to be displayed in Indian format? Indian format in the sense that do you want this time to be displayed that it is 8:40 p.m. Okay, 8:40 p.m. p.m. in the evening, right? And if you want it to be displayed into the format of 13, 14, 15 after 12 instead of 1, that should show us 13. Instead of 2, it should show us 14 like this. Okay, so there are two methods. Firstly, I am showing you in the form of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. After that, I'll be showing you in the format of 11, 12, 13. Right. So I'll be adding here percent %i. Okay. Percent %i is actually used when you want the time to be displayed in the form of 1 till 9. Okay. And I'll be writing here percent %. I'll be putting a colon. I want hour. I want minute. I want seconds. Okay, I want seconds also. And after that, I'll be putting 1% sign. I'll be writing here a small p. Now, this small p actually stands that I want that it is AM or PM. Okay, if you just do not want to display AM or PM, so you can just remove out this percent %p. And if you want, you can add it. Right? I would just come down here. Now, after coming down here, basically, I will be again using that digi underscore clock variable which I have made downside. Okay. So in that basically I have stored my font and my size, that actually what font should be there, what color should be there, what should be the size, right? So digi underscore clock dot, and here I'd be using config. Okay, config is actually used me. So basically inside the config I'd be using text, that what text actually I want to write into this digi underscore clock. Okay, so text I want to write here is display underscore time. Okay, so in this variable only I have stored that whatever is the present time right now, it would be stored into this variable, right? And I want to display that only. So here inside this config function, I wrote the text is equal to display underscore time, right? And here I'll be writing digi underscore clock dot after, and in bracket it is 200, and dot after in bracket I will write it 200 comma, and here I'll be writing present underscore time, and I'll remove this. Fine. Now, this actually means that after 200 milliseconds, this is my milliseconds time. Okay, after every 200 milliseconds time, my present time function will run and it will basically show me the output. Okay, my after all 200 milliseconds, my present time function will run. Right, you here you can just again give the choice of yours, whatever you just wish, you can just give out the number, right? And at last, after my digi underscore clock dot back, here I will be calling my function. The function calling, I would simply be writing present underscore time. This is how basically we just call out the function, right? So here I have just completed my program, and now I would just run this here for a while. Now you are able to see that basically what I just got here, I just got my clock displayed here, and I got that it is 8:45:37. This is hour, this is minute, and this is seconds, and even it is showing me that AM or PM. Now if I want this 8 to be displayed in terms of 18, 19 or 20, then what I would be doing here is that I would be removing this I, and instead of this I would be adding here H. Okay, H means for hour. And now if I just run it now, so now have a look, now it is displaying me in the form of 18, 19, 20. Previously it was giving me 8:46, right? Now it is giving me 20:46. So that is also the same, only differences of the terms, only differences of the numbers, right? I hope now you got the idea that how you can just make a clock using the Python programming language and using the modules of Tkinter and time. Right, so this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care.